Hello again, Larry from Willowbank. This is the first week in April, week 14 in the horticultural calendar, and today we're going to look at propagating herbaceous perennials by division. I have before me here a hosta, a poppy and a lupin. Herbaceous perennials can be best described as plants which die away in winter to right underneath the ground. The roots remain there, and in early spring they come again. So it was a fairly simple task. Just as they're coming over the ground, you can dig up the pot or the plant, and this one here has 3 sprouts coming out of it. I will get at least 2 plants or maybe 3. You can see a good solid root ball. So it's just a case of taking a sharp knife, cutting down through the root ball, making sure that you do not cut your hand, and just divide it first of all in 2. And here we have the root of the hosta. Now I would put those into a smaller pot than the one they come out of, because you're going to cut it into 2 or 3. Just a case of placing it in the pot, a little bit of compost around the roots, and there you have a new plant. Now that can be planted now, and it will grow this spring in about 2 months. It will produce nice green leaves, a tall stem with a nice mauve flower on top. So there's one new one. Again, you can see 2 shoots coming out of the ground here. I'll be able to divide that again. Sharp knife. Again, try and keep as much soil as you can on the root. Place it into the pot. Two. There you have 3 hostas ready to plant on or sell on. These would retail in the garden centre for about £4 each. In some garden centres you'll pay them up to £5 or £6 or £7 for them. I just water those in later, but that's hostas. The next one I'm going to look at is a poppy. Again, you can see a number of roots coming out of the ground. These have just put these leaves on in the past 2 months. You can turn the pot over carefully. You can see the root ball, good fresh roots. Again, it's just to take a sharp knife, find the division between them, separate them like that, and cut it into 2. This one again, I will just turn the soil around it a little bit. Put it into the pot. One. If the base is too tall to allow it to go down into the pot, then don't be afraid to cut an inch off the bottom. And that, you would call that dropping the plant. In other words, you're taking an inch or 2 off the bottom to allow it to fit into a smaller pot. So there you have 2 poppies from 1. Again, can be planted into the garden and they will flower this summer. The last one I'm going to look at is a lupin, quite familiar to most gardeners. Again, a herbaceous perennial, good root system. On this I can see 3 or 4 stems. So it's a case of looking around it, find the best place to divide it where the knife is likely to do the least damage. Here I have a division here. Again, just split the root. You can see where it's been divided. I just tend to turn the compost in around the base. Again, loosen some of the compost to get down into the pot. There you have one lupin. Again, you can see here, this can be divided once more, at least once more. If you feel that some of the leaves are too big, don't be afraid to cut them off. And there we have our third one. So we have got 3 lupins. From one. Again, they would retail in our garden centre in Willowbank for £4 each in about a month's time. So that's just propagating of herbaceous perennials by division. The compost I'm using here is a mixture of 2 parts John Innes compost, 2 parts tub and basket compost, and 1 part horticultural grit. So it's a good loose compost that will allow drainage and will allow these to grow on in the pots for several months before planting out in the garden. So that's today's class on propagating herbaceous perennials by division, and the best time to do that is probably the month of April, before they put on much more growth. So I'll see you again in a few days. Bye.